One thing about going live with the talent that we have at Rocketboom is that everybody has a really unique personality, and that their personalities come out more, I think, in the live segments where we get to see them being a little bit more off the cuff. And I think that's what our audience really loves the most, is when they see Molly as Molly, when they see Ella as Ella, doing something active and laughing and having fun. Some of that stuff, you know, when we go out and do a more produced piece, gets cut out because we have to get down to like the essential 3 to 5 minutes in an episode. But when it's live, you just see what's happening right there in that moment. And I think our audience really likes seeing that very real, natural side to all of our on-camera talent. The other really cool thing about live is that in a place like YouTube, for example, there's a great community that's already there, and they can send in comments, they can potentially influence a moment that happens in the broadcast. Because if they send in a comment, or perhaps they tweet something at us and we think it's great and Molly can read it, you know, when she's on camera, I think that that adds that sort of like, oh my gosh, you know, I'm part of the broadcast, they just made a shout out to me, or that was my question, and I think people get really excited about that. For the 2 Rocketboom variety style shows, the one that we had in the morning, we were thinking a little bit more like a morning show, the Today Show, where it was a combination of news stories, which is also like traditional to like Rocketboom, and then having like segments about New York City, segments about technology that kind of emulate that like format of what a morning show is, where they cut to their other host talking with an author or cooking or whatever. So we decided to kind of emulate that, but with Rocketboom and sort of internet culture. So we had a segment where Molly made a cake in a mug, and that was our cooking segment in the microwave. And I think it was one of our best segments in the hour. We also had URDB came on with Ella Morton of Rocketboom NYC, and she did an interview with them in the top of the hour, and then she said, you know, tweet at us and come join us again at the end of the hour, and we're gonna set some records based on your recommendations. So we like polled in the audience, and so that was very like morning show-esque in its format. Tonight we are doing an evening show at 10 p.m. and in our mind we're sort of thinking like, okay, it could be a little like David Letterman, you know, where we have an opening comedic monologue, and then Molly has some guests, and then the same thing, we're gonna still incorporate our other hosts doing a tech segment and an NYC segment. So those were sort of our influences there, but we didn't want to be like traditional television, so the content is still like very webby. It's still like, what would people who are on YouTube or on the internet want to see? So our content is still geared toward that audience, but kind of playing on the format of what traditional broadcast has been.
Now is a time of news.